Greetings, this is Vane doing Let's Play Avernum 2. We are in Fort Ganrick. We're just about to leave after a surprise attack, which, yeah, it took me by surprise. So, okay, here we are. We are in this tiny corner. It says to go to the east, but we'll check out the rest of the area first. Chapter 1, the barriers. You step out of Fort Ganrick and into the small section of northeastern Avernum. This region has been cut off from the rest of your land by the magical barriers. Nobody is sure who created the barriers, and people are even less sure about how to remove them. If nothing is done about them, Avernum's chance of survival will be greatly reduced. For now, your orders are to deal with a colony of rogue goblins and Nephilim to the east. In the meantime, you hope to find a way to remove the barriers. It seems unlikely, but at this point, hope is all that Avernum has. Okay. You step out into a huge cavern crisscrossed with rows of large, bloated, carefully tended mushrooms. The air is warm, moist, and scented with a hint of sulphur, not unusual for Avernum. The massive cavern is lovely in an austere sort of way. You can see clearly in the green light cast by the growing lichen on the ceiling. The lichen was created by the Tower of Magi years ago using strange magics. It makes life in Avernum possible. To the southwest you can see Fort Draco, the largest settlement in the area. Further to the west you might be able to see the strange magic barriers which have everyone so concerned. Okay, Fort Draco. Now that's a name we remember, as well as Formello. So we're up in that corner next. Okay. There's a group of heavily armed humans approaching you. Their armies one, they look exhausted. They are clearly moving to intercept you. Approach and talk to them. You are soon close enough to see that they are soldiers of Avernum patrolling the roads around Fort Draco. They have been worn down by constant skirmishes with goblins and bandits. After a brief exchange of pleasantries, they warn you to be careful and watch for foes. They then depart. You feel worried, or for all of Avernum's soldiers who are this weary, the state is in great danger. Fort Ganrick, 14 miles north. Cave of Motrax, 50 miles east. Motrax was the home. Motrax was the kind dragon who helped people. Yeah. This is a fairly successful farming area. Long, orderly rows of mushrooms surround you. Crude stone homes are visible among the hills and stalagmites of the Cave 4. You see a group of giant lizards. Brands mark them as one of the local farm's property, raised as beasts of burden or for food. They are violent, irritable beasts, stupid and most unsuitable for domestication. Their teeth have been, as usual, filed down, although their claws look sharp. Some farmers are probably missing their stock. Attempt to round them up. A tiring hour of chasing, much shouting and hissing, and a number of nasty scratches later, the lizards clearly communicate their desire to continue on their way. Regretfully, you allow them to go. So, yeah, interesting. They still haven't solved the rogue lizard problem. This is the Gunston Homestead. Okay. Gunston homestead. This is the central compound of a large farm. Pens for animals are to the east, a farmhouse to the west, and a tunnel leads into the cave wall to the northeast. Most of Avernum's food comes from small farms like this. A variety of mushrooms, lizard meat, and cave cow milk provide the bulk of the Avernum diet. The wall is very heavy and the residents are well armed. Must be a dangerous area. Okay. You meet a tall, striking woman with short, dark hair. She grinds something up with mortar and pestle as she talks. I'm Carol of the Hamer clan. Welcome to our humble household. Greetings, what are you doing? I and my husband look after our farm and the farms around here. We raise livestock and some mushrooms. I'm also a healer. I can help you if you like. Who is your husband? Tor. We run this farm together. It's been a lot of work because of these salamanders. Having problems with salamanders? 2 nasty salamanders are holed up in our larder. Talk to Tor about it. He'll tell you how it happened. Alright, have a nice day. Okay. A radiant red-haired woman, maybe in her early 20s, is running various farm errands. She has small scars on her hands and arms which show up well against the translucent white skin. She says, "Welcome, my name is Jasmine." Those scars look nasty. Yes, comes from raising giant lizards. I used to feel sad about them, but I've come to realise, scarred or not, I look just fine. She grins. You're quite right. She blushes. The pink shows up sharply against the pale skin. You're sweet to say so. I'm curious about something else. Jasmine keeps talking about you. She doesn't seem the slightest bit self-conscious about her many scars. What are you doing? Nicholas and I work for Tor and Carol. It's their farm. I watch the livestock and he works the mushrooms. Tell me more about Nicholas. He and I are engaged to be wed. Nicholas looks after our mushroom patches. There's a bunch of them to the south. Growing mushrooms is a lot of work down here, even though there's no weeds. What do you think of this farm? This is the biggest homestead around here. Tor and Carol look after the other farms, organise that sort of things. Nicholas and I just work for them. They're good to work for. They've been under a lot of strain because of the salamanders. What salamanders? They're down in the larder and they're dangerous. You can't get them out. You should talk to Tor about it. Okay. That's all for now. The passage slopes down to the east. The air is stuffy and dank, and you can definitely smell smoke. It is unnaturally warm. You think you can hear hissing. Well, that's all of the prompting I need to not go down there just yet. You meet a pale young man. He wears a studious, harried expression and carries a basket of mushrooms. You greet him. He nods, not setting down the mushrooms. I am Nicholas. Working hard. I look after the mushroom patches. I bet you think it's easy. No, I'm sure farming mushrooms is difficult. Yes, it's hard work. Bats fly down amongst them, the fungus light is barely sufficient, stray lizards eat them, and I have 2 patches to look after outside the farm. They're each half a mile long. He sighs and looks embarrassed. You probably think I'm being whiny. Nah. Sorry about it, it's just we're having a problem with some salamanders. Never had problems like that in Cotra. Are you from Cotra? Jasmine and I from Cotra, way south of here. Ever been? It's one of the 6 cities. Sort of out the way, but a good place. Yeah, we've been to Cotra before in Avernum. It was just to the west of where we started. Well, I say just, it was a good screen away, but yeah. Having problems with salamanders. You should talk to Tor about it. He's looking to hire someone to get rid of them. That's all I want to know. A dour, well-worn man sits at the end of the table pondering. A heavy blade hangs about his side. He nods to you. My name's Tor. Welcome to the Gunston homestead. Is this your homestead? Aye, it is. He looks like something is making him uncomfortable. Is something bothering you? Sorry, it's just no offence. I've fought Nephilim too long to be able to accept humans travelling with them. I don't care for their kind at all. What fort did you work at? I used to walk at Fort Avernum. Yes, where you start in the first one. I gave weapons and stuff to the new arrivals. Everyone who arrived from the surface world went by me. I gave them a knife, food, directions. Without my stuff, nobody would have lived long. Of course, the Empire stopped sending people down. Fort Avernum shut down and I left the army. Oh well, what can you do? Thought I recognised the name. What is at Fort Avernum now? Nothing. Rubble. Abandoned. Can't say it makes me sad. Nobody knew we'll be trapped down here. There's something else I would like to ask you. Can we buy provisions from you? What are you offering us? Weird meat. Yep. Okay, that's done. Is this your homestead? Who is your lady? Carol. She's the healer in these parts. What fort did you work at? How do you help the other farmers? Well, you see, I was a soldier. I had the know-how, so I was a natural to help other farmers organise and stuff. Then when the Nephilim attack started. Haven't done it much lately, though, because of those damn salamanders. Tell me about your salamander problem. Shaker said, not long ago, a matey pair of salamanders broke in here. Tried to drive them out, but they're hidden in our larder and we can't get them out. They're eating our stores. Kill them and I'll reward you the best I can. What are the Nephilim up to? They haven't given us a moment's peace since they built that fort to the north. Can't stand those Nephil bastards. He stares pointedly at the Nephil in your group. No offence. What did you do as a soldier? I was the quartermaster. I negotiated and bartered for supplies with people from all over. I'll tell you one thing. I could tell you 1,000 tips on how to get better deals for stuff. Can you give us some pointers on how to barter? Not now. I'm too busy keeping my farm running. With those salamanders in the pantry, it's just too much trouble. Thank you for talking to me. Okay, so... Yep, I'm nosy. The bookshelves are filled with skulls covered with arcane symbols. Oddly, they're not magical. However, one word keeps coming up when you read them. Algebra. Okay. Let's go see if we can tackle these salamanders. Can we take them on? Wow, that's a lot of flame. I'm guessing that's flame. Luckily, I can resist fire. I've got a sack of meal, okay. Some stone arrows. Steal the food. Okay, we took care of those salamanders that have been bothering you. Thanks for your help. I've got something for you. We're in the Gunston house remembers those that help us. He disappears into the next room and returns with a delicate necklace for you. This will turn many a blow away. Is it your homestead? How do you help their followers? What are the Nephilim up to? What did you do as your soldiers? Can you give us some points how to barter? Prove barter. 150. George spent many years buying goods for the army on the surface, and then for the army from Avernum. He can get a better deal out of anybody. Okay. That'll help. We'll have to move. Fort Mello, 80 miles southeast. Fort Draco, 25 miles west. Okay. I think what we'll do first is we will explore Fort Draco, because I want to be able to sell the stuff we've got. We're already busy. Then we'll have a look around the area, and eventually we'll make our way to the Nephilim fort. See how big the Nephilim fortress is. Not Nephilim, Fort Draco. Okay. You enter Fort Draco. This is the northernmost outpost of Avernum. Soldiers here spent several long years holding off assaults by hostile Nephilim and the occasional ravenous spider. But, as your burning nose and watery eyes constantly inform you, Fort Draco isn't just for defence. This area contains all of Avernum's most productive sources of iron ore. The ore is brought here to be smelted. This makes Fort Draco both incredibly important to the health of Avernum and a very unpleasant place to visit. Everything is covered in a thick layer of soot. The people walking around look extremely worried. Their conversation seems centered on one topic: the huge magical barriers which have cut this area off from the rest of Avernum. You don't know much about these barriers yet. Perhaps asking around would give more information. Okay. Talking to Hark. There's a large filthy man sitting at the bar swilling mushroom out. You sit by him and ask his name. Hark. May I talk with you? Let a man drink in peace. Just trying to make conversation. You heard me. I'm drinking here. Go away. He turns away. The bar is tended by a handsome man with somewhat deranged demeanour. Fights a constant and futile battle to keep the counter free of soot. He's pleased to see you. Welcome to my inn. My name is Crisper. So, barkeep, heard anything about the magical barriers outdoors? Only that they're a disaster, completely cutting us from all of Avernum. If you want real information, talk to Commander Anford. You can find him near the docks. What's on the menu today? All drinks are a gold. Don't matter what you order because it all tastes the same. The soot, you know. You can sleep in the common room for 5 gold, and you can even buy rations. Feel free to stay and rest a while. Just never mind me. It takes all my time keeping this place clean. So what makes cleaning so tough here? He twitches. Let me tell you about all the ashes. I never knew when I bought this place there would be so many ashes. A ton a day, piles and piles of them all over. And smoke too. And it isn't just that. He twitches alarming. It's the spiders. I have to clear away the lips. The noises they make, all of them. What's so difficult about a bunch of spiders? He twitches. They're what did this to me. It was the happy spiders. I can't get them out of my brain. I hear them speaking to me sometimes. A whole bunch of them live in a cave to the west. Oh yes, I remember the happy spiders. They were very fun. That was a fun area. Some of them came around not long ago looking for someone to help them. I've always hated spiders, and having them like me only makes it worse. He's ranting. You get nervous. Wait a moment, can I trouble you with another question? What's on the menu today? Can I get a drink? Yep. Like to go sleep in the common room. Right this way. He takes you to the common room. You manage to find a place among these filthy miners and merchants. With difficulty you manage to get a few hours rest of sleep. The room smells bad. On the menu today. Can I get a drink? Here's some of what would be our finest ale if it weren't for all the darn soot. He serves up several mugs of mushroom ale with little flecks of soot floating on top. It's strong stuff and not entirely repulsive. Okay. Just a check. Fort Draco Boat Works. This open building has several broad flat-bottom boats in various stages of construction. They are simple and stable, ideal for navigating the subterranean rivers of Avernum. You meet an energetic, long-haired woman. Her belt is laden with tools of various sorts. She holds a ruler and a scroll, and her jerkin is covered with a light layer of sawdust. I'm Tess, the shipwright of Fort Draco. Please Chamicha. What are you making? What do you think? I make boats. Want to purchase one? Only 300 gold, highest quality. How do you make a boat? I carve them out of the cave wood myself by hand. They're small, but they'll get you south just fine. Safest way to travel. Why is water travel safer than travel by land? The Empire don't got many boats down here. Don't have the know-how. One of the things we got over them, people like me. I have no more for questions. Okay. Talking to Anford, a middle-aged man is reclined against one of the statues, looking out over the water. He wears the robes of an apprentice mage. He greets you. Welcome, travellers. I'm Anford, commander of Fort Draco. Are you an apprentice mage? Yes and no. I am the commander of Fort Draco. I am also a mage, but that isn't as important. My duty is to this fort, first and foremost. Which came first, your apprenticeship or your command? I've been an apprentice mage for 5 years. In the Slith Wars I got assigned to this fort, and they found I had a knack for tactics. I never returned to the Tower of the Magi. Another question. Why are you standing out here? This is where I do my thinking about the fort. My office, so to speak. Normally I'd be planning tactics, defences, that sort of thing. But not lately. We fought off a bunch of Empire assaults and they've left us alone lately, so that's not on my mind. We have a different threat now. I'm mainly thinking about the barrier. What do you know about the barrier? The barriers appeared a week ago. Magic barriers. Outdoors. Huge. A sort we've never seen before, cutting off this area from the rest of Avernum. We can't break them down, we can't touch them, it's a disaster. They cut Avernum into pieces. Another question for you. So you're the commander, huh? Any odd jobs we can do for you? I'm glad you asked. There have been there's brigands ambushing caravans near the fort, very near. I think they're based very close to the fort. Find them and eliminate their leader, and I would appreciate it. Do we have any clues on the fort located very near to okay. So nothing new then that we don't already know. Esther's armors. Okay. A greying woman, pale to the point of translucency, sits behind the counter. I'm Esther. Welcome to my shop. What's for sale here? You can buy armour here. It's not fancy stuff like Boutel makes, but the price won't break you. And when you're done here, Orson can help you more. Who is Orson? My husband. His weapon shop is just around the corner. He sighs. Came into Avernum together 10 years ago. We're old timers. What do you think about Boutel? His smithy is just down the road. He's a bit full of himself, but let me tell you, he's the finest hammer and anvil man in Avernum, and maybe the surface world too. I have another question for you. I'd like to do some trading. So let's have a look. Got to identify that. Sell this stuff. Not bad. Cleared out our inventory. That's the best part of this. A brawny man paces edgily about. He looks you up and down. He is clearly unimpressed. I'm Boris. You here to train? His voice makes the air vibrate. So what can you do for me? I train people who need it. I've taught many of the soldiers who have given their lives defending us. I also expend my precious time assisting adventurers. What do you teach the soldiers? Soldiers can often get sent to me to learn how to survive in combat. The Empire soldiers are fast and deadly. It's all I can do to give them skills to avoid being butchered. Something else I'd like to hear. Let's get to work. I'd like to learn. Alright then. Training is the same. Okay, let's have a look. We all start with the 5 skill points. I could set them in the character editor, but yeah, never mind. Endurance. Done. Okay. The Draco School of Military Arts. Orson's fine weaponry. We have metal. There is an aging and greying man pacing around his tables of goods. He is sharpening an arrowhead. His skin is like parchment, bleached white. He looks up at you. Ah, customer. He brushes soot off the counter with his hands. I'm Orson. What do you sell here? I run this fine little weapon shop. He waves at his stock. Not bad, despite the barrier. Really messed with my stock. What do you know about these barriers? Not much, I'm afraid. I won't be able to get much new stock with those barriers up, but I still got a lot here. I just hope they get the thing down soon. Hey, let's buy something. Now open up the trapdoor and find a shaft underneath it. There is a ladder you can climb down. Just leave. You see a woman with curly hair sitting behind the counter. She watches you silently. You ask her name. I'm Shoal, she says with a quiet voice. What are you doing? Just sitting. Maybe with some things you can buy. But things that are perfectly legal to sell. And you can sell me things too. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing illegal going on here. She's intensely nervous. So I can't buy anything illegal from you then? There's nothing illegal here. Nope. She's shaken a little. And the oil piles back there, they're my property. I can prove it, so stay away. Can't I just take a peek at your entirely legal pile of ore? The corner of her mouth begins to twitch. Just stay away from them. Don't go behind the shop, please. Okay, somehow, despite her pleading, she doesn't seem entirely sincere. Can you help me with something else? I'd like to look at you for your wares. Yeah. Lockpicks. Gotta get some lockpicks. It pains me have to buy lockpicks. Pains me dearly. But they're so useful. It's against my very core of my being to have to buy lockpicks. But there's just so much to explore with them. And we keep taking so much damage from locked doors, so yeah. Well, she's hiding the trapdoor. Okay, you know what? We've done quite a bit of Fort Draco, so I am going to leave it here. This is Vane doing Let's Play Avernum 2. If you like what you're seeing here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Please consider please consider sponsor. If you like what you're seeing here, be sure to like, subscribe, share and comment. Please consider sponsoring me on Patreon, and until next time, goodbye.